What's going on, guys, and welcome to Built. Today we are working on a ridiculously over-engineered go-kart for my two sons. They are 5 years and 3 years old, and we got to fix the suspension. We built suspension for it last week and got the thing running, but unfortunately our suspension failed. So today we're going to rip all of this apart, redesign the entire thing based on some pictures that I've seen, and hopefully by the end of this first segment of the video, we'll have working suspension. We can actually take this thing on a legitimate test drive. Then we'll get on to the rest of everything. Let's do it. Designing suspension is hard. When people talk about suspension geometry, there's a lot of geometry that goes into it, and if it's not right, your wheels fold over. So our wheel actually folded over as soon as we got done with this, and I realized that it was because of the way our 2 points were aligned, and they were out of line a certain way, and so when you put pressure on them, they folded over. But if you get them lined up properly, when you put pressure on them, they work. So we now have a fully functional suspension system designed here, and I am so excited that that's over with. It has been destroying my brain for a very long time. I do want to learn more about suspension. I'd like to build suspension for my MG. So if you know any books, or mainly books, or maybe videos, but probably books that go over kind of designing a suspension setup like this one, except for cars, link them below or send them to me an email or something, because I really want to learn more about what's going on here. So you can see that the car is sitting much lower in the front. It looks a lot more like a race car now. We did do some testing with the rear tires, and we threw one of those on the front to just see how it was going to sit, because we want to run that size all the way around. And with the bigger tire on the front, it looks totally fine. So we didn't think this was too big of a deal, because when we put those tires on, it's going to lift the front back up to basically where it was before. We're just going to have a lot more air in the tires and a lot more suspension travel, and it'll make everything a lot more comfortable. So it will get lifted up again by those. The next thing that we're going to do on this thing is get it welded up. I want to test drive it. I want to be able to sit on it and drive it and not worry about anything breaking off. So I'm going to go around the entire car, now that we know everything works, and weld everything together. It's all tacked together now. We're going to weld it up. We'll get to test drive it, then we'll work on fitting the body back on, and then we can build our roll cage and finish this thing up. Very exciting stuff. A lot of work to do. Before we can begin welding, we have to disassemble everything. I'm going to weld this up on the bench as much as I can, so I've got to get everything off of it so that I can weld it all up and get it all very strong. Also, we don't want to throw a lot of heat into these parts that don't need heat on them. Now, I don't know if this is right or not, but the way that I like to weld is sort of pretending everything's a box. So I'm going to flip this frame on every single side, every axis, and weld the flat part, the top side, the flat top. We're going to weld the top of it. That way I don't have to worry about welding vertically. I don't have to worry about weld kind of seeping down or falling down or anything like that. I am by no means a pro welder. I wouldn't even call myself a good welder, but I can weld, and this is just a project for me to get better at welding tubing before I jump into things like the roll cage and suspension for my car that will be going much faster than this little go-kart. But most importantly, this thing is not going to fall apart. Given that my 3-year-old and 5-year-old will be driving this car, I knew that I would be pulling it around a lot. So I decided to build myself a bumper with that in mind. I used this laser cut logo to build a custom bumper, aka handles for dad, that will allow me to pull them out of ditches away from cars, walls, anything else they might like to hit. It's also going to give me a little bit of a buffer whenever they decide to run into things, so that hopefully they don't break all of the things that I've just spent all this time building. With that welded on, it was time to move to the rear swing arm. This is way simpler, and I've already welded a good bit of it, so it's just a few welds. We're going to weld our brake mount on, and then we will be good to go. Good to finally test drive this thing. Now, I've been going through this oil paint phase. I don't know what you want to call it, but I love oil paints. I think that they are really awesome. They're super durable. They're really easy to apply. They dry over a long period of time, which means they dry pretty flat. They kind of self-level. And they're really, 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 really cheap. So I've been doing a lot more painting with oil. Now, this is a Rust-Oleum, just classic old school Rust-Oleum paint. It's like $12 a quart, and it goes a really, really long way. It's super thick, so it will hide some of my less attractive welds. I decided to start with a rusty metal primer. This is a primer that Rust-Oleum makes to stop metal from rusting, stop rust in its tracks. At least I think that's what it's for. That's the brown color that you see. And then we went over that with a bright red, just the brightest red that I could find. Super happy with how this came out. I think it looks great, and it will be very easy to touch up when my children inevitably run this thing into walls, fences, trampolines, and play sets. Hopefully not each other.
Brown.
Yeah, and then, well, then you paint the red paint on top of that. But like you can see, I scratched some of the red paint off, so I gotta repaint some of that. This is basically it, and we'll paint this the new color. But don't tell them on camera because they don't need to know. We can't tell them what color it's gonna be. You better not tell them. You can try to tell them if you want to try. Tell them what the new color is.
The new color is gonna be.
Do you want to put the front wheels on? All right.
I'm Kingzilla! If I said King Godzilla, I would be the shark one.
He's a lizard, isn't he?
No, he's a shark.
Are you sure about that?
Yes. I made him on my Making Godzilla game.
You have a Making Godzilla game?
Yes.
Yeah, don't touch that.
I will take it with my boot.
You want to help me with this part?
I don't watch you. It sounds like I've never done this, so I don't watch you.
I've never done it either, bud. Get this in there first, okay?
We're just going to do it on both sides. That side, that side. That side, or that side.
Watch your toes. Where's that hammer that you had?
There.
I'm going to try to push that ball all the way through. I have to use the hammer. Yeah.
Godzilla! Smash!
All right, tap that. Hit that with the hammer. Boom, look at that. Good job. Perfect, dude. Perfect.
That's not a spring!
Suspension and spring is the same. It's the same thing.
So, like, the year spring is a suspension.
No, the time of year is different. You grab the back and I'll grab the front. There's the body. Got it? Lift. Yeah. This is exciting. All right, here we go. You're in here first. Nice.
I got my side on. Your side on? I'll get the seats.
Yeah, go ahead and grab those. It's close enough right there. We need our steering wheel.
Putting our seats on before. Seats. Boom. Just need to screw the seats in.
We'll just leave them sitting on there for now. Steering wheel, my sir. Good sir. gonna get you, I'm gonna lift this up and you pull this jack out, okay? Pull that jack out of there, all the way. Yep. Set this on there. This is so cool! You gonna grab that jack out from under there, bud? You get it? Pull straight down. There you go. Whoa! Oh, cool. It still, look, it still sits like you wanted it to. Remember you said you wanted it to slant down?
Yeah. Wait. Can you take the hammer?
May have to,
Screw the seats in.
yeah, I may have to lift it up too because it's pretty slanted.
It doesn't turn that.
Well, we're not, you gotta wait till we're moving,
Oh, it
okay?
kind of turns, but it doesn't.
Hitting the welder over here too.
It only turns.
All right. This is cool. All right, so let's, I'm gonna make a pattern and drive it. Dude, that thing looks so cool. I told Techron about this build and they sent some Techron Power Sports, which is good because these engines actually come with a warranty, which I assume we'll use, but it's only good if you put stabilizer in there. So we're gonna throw some of this in there first and then we'll take it for our first rip.
So when you weren't doing it, I was doing like, woo!
Yeah, I saw that.
And then I did, oh yeah, when you weren't
All right,
doing
keep filming, be
anything.
smooth. Be smooth, 'cause we're gonna get Daddy, put it on Daddy. So I made this little throttle cable and it works pretty good. Obviously we don't have pedals yet, so I'm just gonna control it with my hand. We don't have brakes either. I made a brake mount, but you'll notice the rear subframe isn't painted yet. We've got to get our brake stuff figured out and we'll do
How
that
do you
when we
control
build.
it with your hand?
I'll show you. We got to build our roll cage and stuff, so that'll be next video and we kind of finish everything
Wait,
out.
you're just gonna move your hand like you.
Let's see. I'll start. All right, here we go. You ready?
Oh.
Here, I'll hold it.
This thing is gonna run fast. So
Watch where you're going. So he thinks I'm pushing him. Ready? All right, that is it. It works. It actually works. We've got some slack to take up in our front suspension because I changed some of the hardware out. And so we got to get some like new bushings basically so that it will actually function like suspension. Right now it's functioning just through the, I guess the looseness of the bolt. So we'll fix that, get the front suspension sorted. We may have to do some adjusting too. It looks like yeah, our upper control arms are a little bit long, but we can pull that out with the heim joint, which is pretty awesome. So very excited about that. And then it's just gonna be finishing this thing out. So it's paint, gotta build a roll cage, because if it does flip over, I want them to be safe. So we'll throw a roll cage on it, get it painted, get everything kind of finished out in the next video. The next video for this car, or this go-kart, is gonna be in 2 weeks. So next week we have a video we've been working on for a really long time with the Mercedes. It's kind of a finale video for the Mercedes. So it'll be coming out next week. 2 weeks from now, we'll come out with the final video of this, where we finish it out, show it to the boys, and let them rip it around the yard. It handled our first drive.
I already got to see it.
Well, I know, but I'm gonna do more to it that you don't know about.
Tell me.
Nope. So it'll be really fun. It'll be really cool to see them in it. We may have to like change the seat a little bit because the thing leans forward a lot more than I planned. But
every day I want you to pick me up from school and take me to your shop. So I can see my what? Sorry. So I can see what you are. All right, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're as excited about this as I am. I'm so excited. This thing looks so cool. And the little bitty engine actually does really well. It's very slow to start, which is good. That's what I wanted. Those 212s are not, so it's very easy going into the throttle, which is awesome. And it still gets this thing going, and this thing is not light. Probably weighs 100 pounds, so that's pretty awesome. Can I just turn the camera off?
I guess you can just turn the camera off. We'll see you in the next one.